Not only do I think it's a terrific headline, but I think it's an issue that will dominate around the nation's capital tomorrow. There's no doubt at all about it, and it's called The Joint's Gone Mad. Legal cannabis has Canberra on a high. Whoa, man. Canberra's elevation to the country's cannabis capital has left residents on a high, with the ACT becoming the nation's first state or territory to legalise the possession of marijuana for personal use. The legislation allows individuals to possess up to 50 grams of the drug and to grow up to 2 plants with a limit of 4 plants per household. The law change has been welcomed by weed advocates, but there are now fears among New South Wales police that the new laws could fuel our state's spiralling drug crisis by making it easier for criminal gangs to transfer their massive pot crops up the Hume Highway to Sydney. What are your thoughts on this story, Caleb Bond?
It's all very interesting, isn't it? Look, perhaps we shouldn't go too hard on the people in Canberra because they possibly need a few weed plants to cope with the fact that they're living there. But notwithstanding that, I'm interested to see what effect this has on the criminal circuit because for some reason organised crime has an uncanny ability to find out where cannabis plants are, particularly if you're growing them just for yourself. Somehow they work out where these plants are, and then generally they go and extort the people who are growing them and say, well, either you hand over part of what you're growing or we'll rat you to the police. And that's often how they end up propagating their plants. So it may well have the effect of shutting down that aspect of organised crime, but it also opens up the possibility of people thinking that it's okay to smoke dope because the law now says, well, there's no consequence for it, which I think is a dangerous road to go down. There's plenty of evidence that marijuana is a gateway drug. Smoking anything into your lungs is not good, and you know there's certainly no plans to allow personal growth of tobacco because the government makes a hell of a lot of tax out of it. But of course the government doesn't make tax out of marijuana, so it's really nothing to them. So it's an interesting development. I'd be interested to see what it means legally in terms of crime, because I think that's really what they're trying to target here. And if it results in a reduction in organised crime when it comes to marijuana, then perhaps it's not as dumb as it looks at first glance.
And of course, Caleb, it also, and I'll bring Frank in now because I'm going to go to the front of the Canberra Times as well, which of course has this as their splash. It also, doesn't it open up a Pandora's box around driving? I mean, you know, what are the rules in relation to, you know, cannabis sativa being found in your system and you are driving? Because we know that in other states, you know, drug driving is now as prevalent as drink driving. And of course, you know, you see those, you know, random breath test shows all the time where they pinch them for having cannabis in their system. So I'm really interested in what the implications are. Now, the front page of the Canberra Times says ACT's historic drug law. The ACT is the first jurisdiction in the country to legalise the possession and cultivation of cannabis for personal use. The Legislative Assembly passed the bill on Wednesday with the support of Labor and the Greens. And, of course, we've also got the Canberra Raiders on the front of the Canberra Times and the headline, Living the Green Dream. Very, very appropriate, Frank Russo.
Yeah, brilliant front page there. But look, I think with the whole situation here, are we opening Pandora's box with legalising marijuana in the ACT? Is it going to bring more people to Canberra? I don't know. It certainly won't be getting me down there. But it's like you said with alcohol. Is there going to be rules, you know, no dope and drive, you know? There's going to have to be a lot of thought put into this, particularly if it does go ahead. I've covered courts many of my years, and I've seen both implications of drug use, and it's not a very good look. On the flip side, though, medicinal cannabis, if it's used the right way, I think it could be the good thing.